DTV is at Zuid Afrikaans Hospital in Pretoria to witness something special. Previously, DTV brought you the unique story of a family with blind parents and 2 deaf children.
Dankie, ons het ons vader vir ons nou gaan eet, dan sien ek jou wat die voedsel voorberei. Amen.
Thank you, Jesus, for the delicious food. And bless our food.
Our family is a very young, energetic, abled but disabled family, whereby we have 2 deaf, 2 blind, and 1 normal, non-disabled person in our house. But at the end of the day, me and Tanya strive to just deal with whatever God put on our paths.
You tried to kiss me, but I pushed you away. Naughty. Right?
How do you communicate with your parents?
We can't have a full conversation because they can't see and I can. I'm deaf and use sign language. They speak to each other because they can hear. Later I might get a cochlear implant so that I can hear talking.
What are your hopes for the children?
My hopes are that my children will have normal lives just as anybody else, that they will pursue a career and have happy families. And we also hope that we can assist them to have this wonderful lives with cochlear implants. We are currently registered at the Foundation for Children with a Hearing Loss in South Africa, and anybody who wants more information about this can email me.
Are you excited? You know what is happening today?
Yes, I'm very excited.
The crayon is broken. Tell us about the procedure you will be doing on the children.
This morning we'll be doing a cochlear implant on both of these children. This procedure basically just means that we'll be putting a device under the skin and an electrode inside the cochlea in order to give a better stimulus to the cochlear nerve, and the magnet underneath the skin so that the external device can sit on top of this device, and then sound will be transmitted into the cochlea.
How long does it take to perform?
Usually it takes about 2 hours to do the procedure. It's only when there are difficulties that it can become a long procedure up to 6 hours. But with both these children, we've examined their scans and we don't foresee any problems. So we expect to be about 2 hours per procedure.
When we started our road with DTV, we said we struggle as blind parents with deaf kids. That was 2 years back. The impact it will have on our lives will be massive. Because to think for the first time in 10 years, the first time in 9 years in my daughter's situation, they will be able to hear their own mother's voice. They will be able to act as normal people on sound, a gift that they did not have for the majority of their lives up to now.
The cost for the operations was 804,000 rand. We talked to the role players involved in making this possible. Please tell us how the foundation is involved in making today's procedures possible.
The Foundation for Children with Hearing Loss offers support to families with financial difficulties. We assist them to raise funds for cochlear implants. Even if they have medical aid, the medical insurance companies only pay like a limited percentage for the procedures. So there's always a shortfall that they face. And yeah, it's a very expensive procedure. And in Corban and Samantha's case, they didn't have any medical insurance to cover this procedure. So we assisted the family with raising funds. We started 24 months ago. It was really a fundraising journey. And we raised a substantial amount, but it wasn't enough for the children, for even one of them to go for the procedure. So yeah, we met Cathrine from Funding Solutions, and she also introduced us to Lorenzo Davids, the CEO of Community Chest. This company actually donated the last outstanding amount of 650,000 about 2 weeks ago, and that is what basically made this day possible. So it was really a fundraising journey to get here.
Community Chest received an appeal from the Foundation for Hearing Loss just over a year ago, and when we receive this kind of appeal, we take it through a very lengthy due diligence and verification process. But when we read the story of Corban and Samantha, it really spoke to us. It really touched us deeply. The story of the parents, the story of how they got to where they are today, was something that I think touched us as a funder. And so about 3 months ago, we decided to commit the funding to make sure that these two wonderful South Africans can get this kind of vital surgery that they require. And so today for us is as great a pleasure as it is for everybody else to be a part of this great process.
Do you have a message for potential sponsors wanting to get involved?
Yes, definitely. I think this is more than a journey, than a once-off donation from somebody. I mean, it's really a miracle to meet somebody that can't hear or speak or anything, and then, you know, give a donation or support financially, and then walk actually this road with them, where they go for the cochlear implant procedure and all the therapy afterwards, and then actually learn to speak, learn to listen, and then how they then perform in school, education-wise, the children, and then just have a quality life, a normal life, really different than before.
Inside my closet.
How did the children react when they were told they will be getting cochlear implants?
The children are very excited. We received the news on the 6th of February, and they've been counting down the days, all 28 days, every day 1 day less.
After the break, we find out how DTV inspired fundraising for today's operations. Years ago, DTV visited the Venters from Pretoria. Both parents are blind and 2 of their 3 children are deaf. The 2 deaf kids are receiving cochlear implants today. You must have mixed emotions. Please share.
We're very excited that this is finally happening, but I'm also very nervous that both my children must go for operations on the same day.
Look here. The teddy bear scratched me. It hurts. Just kidding.
I want to enrich their lives so they can, one day when they are grown up, so they can also hear their children laugh and cry and experience the world around them.
Samantha's operation is done and Corban is on his way to the theatre.
In my home, both my parents are blind. I love my two sisters. I'm excited to get the operation done. If there's a burglary or something happening in the house, then I will be able to hear and warn my parents.
To cater for hearing viewers, DTV records voices over the sign language. Originally, you were just the mother whose son was chosen by DTV to be the voice of Corban on one of our programs. What happened then?
It felt to me like it was just too much of a coincidence that me being a professional fundraiser, that my son ends up doing the voiceover for a family that really needed money.
How did you get involved with the program DTV was doing?
I did drama and I went to do a voiceover for DTV, and then we found out it was a documentary for Corban and Samantha.
And I'd never raised money or helped raise money for individuals because I tend to do corporate fundraising and trusts and foundations. But it just felt to me like it was worth trying. And what I do is I do fundraising coaching, so I help people raise the money they need. I don't actually raise the money for them. I knew the fundraising theory behind how something like this works, and how it works is you throw it out to the pool of people around you, and a whole lot of people will give you small amounts, and what you're hoping for within that group of fish is that you'll catch a shark. So you hope you're going to find a big person who's got access to a lot of money to give back. So that was my hope. But I'd never done it before, so I went in with a bit of fear and trepidation into the process.
What does being part of this project mean to you?
I think being part of this project really changed my life. When Nicholas went to do the voiceover, I said to him that I was sure it was going to be a life-changing experience for him. And what I didn't know then was it actually was going to become a life-changing experience for me as well. Because it basically taught me that the things that you think are impossible aren't impossible. And you can make things happen, you can be part of making something happen that is incredibly significant for people.
What does it mean to you being involved in this project?
I felt very proud because I helped change 2 South Africans' lives forever.
Is this a once-off, or will you be involved in sponsoring more cochlear implants?
Community Chest is involved in a number of funding initiatives, and part of our ambition and drive is to ensure that we can do more of these. This particular operation takes place in partnership with the Nellie Atkinson Foundation, which is a large fund very committed to ensuring that children can undergo these types of operations, especially to restore some form of hearing to them. So we are very confident that over the next year or two we'll be doing some more of these kinds of operations, and so we're excited to find more cases that we can attach our money to, and our ability to bring that change is for us a great pleasure.
What's the last encouraging thing you said to your children before they were taken to theatre?
The last encouraging thing we said to them was, doesn't matter what happened, we always love you, and that you must remember that it's because through the means of God that we are able to be here today, and give them the gift of hearing from out of a humanity side, and that they must just be strong, and that in future they will understand why they had to go through what they have to go through today.
Both children should be back in the ward now. Let's pay a quick visit.
While they pushed my bed into the ward, I was already awake, but my brother is still asleep. I'm fine.
What continued support will be offered after the procedure?
It's very important for the children to go for speech and language therapy after the cochlear implant procedure. It's more like an oral rehabilitation for them because, like in Corban and Samantha's case, they never learned to speak within the first 3 years of their lives. So speech is never guaranteed, but this therapy is so intense and it actually helps them to learn to listen. The brain must basically rewire. So in other words, the brain is now basically asleep and they must learn the brain to wake up again and learn to listen and to make something of the sound that they're going to hear.
Both procedures went well. DTV will catch up with the family again when the switch on of the cochlear implants will be done. After 4 weeks, their implants will be switched on. We'll look at that after the break. Two deaf kids of blind parents each received a cochlear implant.
In our household, with a baby growing up, and with them, it will have such a major impact on the fact that we are blind and they are deaf. But now, after this, when the switch on takes place, we can't talk to them as deaf anymore because then they are normal hearing children with an assistive device, which will have an impact on our lives because we as parents will be able to call our kids. We will be able to say their names and there will be a reaction on that. And just to get reaction out of our kids is already a very big impact apart from not having any reaction at this stage if you call them. So I feel that in our lives it's going to be such a blessing that we can just say thanks.
What is the success rate of the operations in general?
That is a very difficult question just to answer like this because it all depends on what time, how old the children are when they receive these implants. So with Samantha and Corban, unfortunately, we did receive these children a bit late. So we will not be expecting a normal speech and normal hearing in these children. We're trying to give them a better quality of life. And in that regard, almost all our patients that receive a cochlear implant will receive benefit from it and have a better quality of life.
The day of the switch on is here.
Corban, kom. Where? Regtig? Ja, kyk hoor jy. Hoor jy as ek praat? Kan jy hoor? Bang, bang. Bang. Kan jy jouself hoor? Ja, dankie.
It's my look.
Daar sy kom. Sy wys, sy hoor weer. Daar sy nog een. Vat nog een. Vat nog een.
Say word first.
That's right.
Which word best describes your feelings at the moment?
It is a privilege to hear. It is a privilege to see. It's a privilege to be able to walk. It is a blessing to get up in the morning and breathe the air you breathe. So it's an absolute blessing that we are able to give the kids this blessing and this gift. So I will say blessed beyond words.